Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to Courageous Custody, your weekly dose of empowerment and practical guidance. I am Renee Rodriguez, the creator of the Custody Blueprint, mediator, and parenting coordinator.
And I'm Achara Tarfa, a trauma trained level 3 internal family systems practitioner and co-founder of the Global Trauma Institute. Now, here at Courageous Custody, we understand that there are unique challenges that protective parents face in the courtroom. And our mission is to equip you with the strategic thinking and emotional support that you need to navigate this difficult journey with strength and resilience.
Yeah, so every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern, we're going to go live on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, bringing you inspiration and insight from stories and courageous parents who have walked in your shoes and emerged victorious in big ways and small, and practical strategies from us to help you advocate for your children and manage your trauma as you go through your custody case. So let's go ahead and dive in.
Let's dive in.
We are not giving legal advice or therapy.
And if you're feeling triggered, we invite you to take care of yourself.
So today's topic is your narcissistic co-parents, dysfunctional dating and its influence on children. We are coming upon Valentine's Day in just a couple of weeks. Valentine's Day, Galentine's Day. We won't focus on all of that, but instead, I think, this week and next week, I'm going to focus on some of the things that come around that. And, there's really an argument out there that I do see certainly a lot of anecdotal evidence of, that a narcissistic, let me differentiate, someone with narcissistic personality disorder simply cannot be alone. And so there's a revolving door, right?
Yes. Supply.
Yep.
Yes. Navigating co-parenting with a narcissist ex can be so complex, especially when that narcissist can't be alone, especially when around times like holidays or Valentine's Day, and their dating life introduces instability into the children's world. And from an IFS lens, we can sit with these parts of us and explore how to process our own responses, how to support the children through this emotional turbulence, and to approach the challenge with self-leadership, your best self, and compassion to all parts that are involved. So really understanding the impact of dysfunctional dating is key. Narcissistic co-parents, they may prioritize their own needs over the emotional well-being of their children.
Yeah.
And rapidly changing relationships or exposure to unhealthy dynamics can confuse and unsettle kids, right? So as a protective parent, parts may show up that feel fear or helplessness in response to your co-parent's behavior. We cannot control the narcissist. Let go of trying to control the narcissist. It cannot be done. So recognizing that there are parts there that help you respond intentionally rather than reactively.
Yeah, but I think a question that comes up is, does the court take any of this seriously, right? And I think, when we look at how this manifests itself, with the court, I think the biggest place we're going to see, there's two big ways to look at this. The first way is, what can you get put in place so that your children don't have to suffer from this all the way up until they emancipate, right? All as they grow up. And that really has to do with, what are you, when you sit down and you mediate or you have a settlement conference, what kind of language are you using? And this is kind of crucial. I mean, it's basically, they're going to date, they're going to do this thing. How does it affect the kids, right? Which I know we're about to talk a little bit about, because that's a big deal. And I think for a lot of protective parents, what we advise for them to put as part of their mediation, as part of their settlement agreement, is to say that, children will not be introduced to romantic partners until there's been exclusive relationship. Not that they've been dating around for a while and then they decide to become exclusive, but they haven't been exclusive for, I often see 6 months or 1 year, and people say, which one's more reasonable? They want it to be as little as possible, narcissists, but psychologists agree for the most part, across the board, what we see is more psychologists agree that it should be 1 year of serious dating. And I think, Achara, we all know why it should be a year, and psychologists talk about this too, is when by then, that's when there have been enough red flags that you are either, um, realizing that this is something you have to walk away from or not. And I think what we find is that parents, for the most part, once they have children, that lens for them is a lot better, right? They're a lot more paying attention to those red flags and hey, we all fall for the red flags, and there are plenty of reasons to do so. But when we have children, we don't want to be introducing them so soon. And so in the agreement, we advise that you put 1 year. They'll probably fight and take it down to 6 months or so, but at least that's something, right?
Yeah,
and then
absolutely.
on the side of the court, I think the other thing to think about is if there's a revolving door documented, because we do in plenty of our cases, what we do present to the court is there's no stability at that house.
Right.
The kids are being introduced to, a new romantic partner 1 week, 2 weeks in. I'm not even exaggerating on this at all. And then people are moving in together, and there's blended families, and then it lasts for all of a year, if that.
Mm-hmm.
And then these kids are being torn apart again and again. And so you can show that instability in court. So document those romantic partners in a way that the court won't be happy to say that it's because you're jealous.
Yeah, that's key. Because the important piece is to show the impact on the child, right?
That's right.
Kids can internalize these dynamics, and they may not even be able to give language to how they feel. So pay attention to the behaviors, pay attention to whether or not, especially maybe in their play, kids often will, talk about what they're feeling in play, just, even within themselves, playing with toys and so forth, but they may struggle with feeling abandoned or neglected or even caught in the middle. Some kids struggle they want to try to fix the situation, and they try to take on adult roles, right? Mm-hmm. There's so much confusion about what a healthy relationship actually looks like for many of these kids. And so having, inconsistency in a dating life, that's just going to add more to the confusion, and you can document that. So it's really, really important. From an IFS lens, right? Really supporting your child's parts, because children can have parts too, by creating a safe space for them to share how they feel and help them understand without feeling like they need to solve any of the adult problems. Like dad's dating or mom's dating is really none of the children's responsibility. It's really the responsibility of the adult to be mindful, to wait that 6 month, 1 year period before introducing them to the child. That's really on the adult and not on the children to solve that problem. But kids are helpful. They'll want to try to fix and solve. And so just be mindful of that. And there might be some protective parts inside the protective parent, like that really may feel overwhelmed or resentful, frustrated, because, the urge to shield the child from the pain can be overwhelming. And so witnessing a child under distress can be really, really triggering, and feeling powerless to influence the other parent's behavior because you're not in control of what that other parent does. So really pause and listen to those parts that feel that need to be reactive instead of responsive, and offer reassurance that, their concerns are valid. Their concerns about how your kid's impacted is valid. And using, again, that best self to help guide through that situation is really important. So be really, really cautious about what you say and how you present. Wouldn't you say, Renee?
Yeah, I think it's what shows up in court is, it's important for you to be careful about your attitudes about the romantic partner. You're going to have to, if you're feeling negatively about it, which with a revolving door, of course, that's natural. that's something that you need to be sharing with family and friends offline when you're not around your kids, right? Be careful of
Absolutely.
the words that you use to describe the girlfriend. Show real respect, a girlfriend or boyfriend, whoever it might be, the romantic partner. The way that you're gesturing when you're talking about the new romantic partner, the actions that you take around the partner. Because look, a lot of these narcissists will send their new romantic partner to the exchange instead of themselves. And so you when anything around or about that new romantic partner needs to be something that's very circumspect, that's very respectful, and that doesn't show any sort of jealousy or anything negative, because believe me, this stuff comes out in your custody case.
It really does. And the more self-led, the more best self that we are when we're around our kids, the more our kids will begin to feel safe. And if we're operating in a way where we're not worried about dad's revolving door, then the kid isn't going to be worried about the best. Even though we are worried, we don't need to be that way around our
Right. It's
children, right?
helpful to not exude that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, and that creates an environment where the kid, your child does have something to say about dad's revolving door, there's no shame in being needing to talk about that, right? It's done in a calm way, and you can be a support system and be that listening ear for your child.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, just navigating co-parenting challenges with a narcissist ex is not something that we're hoping that you're doing this Valentine's Day. But if you are, please understand that you can stay grounded, you can lead with compassion, and you can support your child's emotional health.
Yeah.
Continue to stick with us in our next episode. Dysfunctional dynamics can be difficult, but they're also an opportunity to model resilience and self-awareness for your kids. So you can navigate these challenges from a place of strength using IFS tools, mindset tools, strategic tools that we're going to share with you, that we continue to share with you here at Courageous Custody, and guide your child towards emotional well-being one part at a time.
Yeah, when you are seeing any sort of, if there's an agreement or an order where the romantic partners are not supposed to be introduced to the kids, or that they are not supposed to be instructing the children to call that romantic partner mom or dad, or any sort of denomination of mom or dad, what we get a lot of is, what do we do about that? We talk about violations every once in a while, and I'll continue to say that the real difficulty with violations is you can't go running to court every time there's a violation. You're really trying to gather up all of the violations. So if it's post case, then you'll want to basically wait until there's enough violations that you feel not too much time has passed, but you want to move forward and, have some censure, have something that changes that. But I think that what's especially important about it that helps is that you show that you've tried to take care of it with the other side. So you should send a non-accusatory, but rather just identifying, hey, I noticed this at drop off. Hey, the children are now calling your new partner, a parent name. This is, not aligned with our parenting agreement, with our parenting order. So I'm just asking you to remediate that, right? And you have to show that you've done that first before you can run to the court and tell them to stop it. Unfortunately, this is not going to be one of the things that the court is going to want you running in about. This has to be an add-on violation for the ones that the court will consider more serious when you go in. So that is all for this week's episode of Courageous Custody. But before we go, thank you so much for joining us, whether live or on replay. We are so grateful to help in any way that we may have. What do you think are the main takeaways for this week, Achara?
I think really just being mindful of how you speak, how you posture yourself, the language and the body language that you use when it comes to speaking about dating around your children. If you're the one who wants to date, really remind yourself to, stick to the order of 6 months to a year, because it does impact your child. If it's your ex that you're having to deal with that's violating that, follow the steps that you just shared, Renee. But I think the biggest insight is to understand that, dysfunctional dating can impact your child. You're right about that. And it's how you show up when you're in the presence of your kid. So make sure that any of that dysfunction, anything that you notice as an adult that the ex is doing, that's not conversation to have or behavior to have around your kid. So let's try to avoid it, to mitigate the impact of it on your child.
Yes.
So yeah, those are the two that I think are the biggest.
Yeah. So next week, join us again at 7 p.m. here, 7 p.m. Eastern. You can like or follow or bookmark us so that you can get the notifications and not miss anything, because what we're talking about might just catch you just when you need it.
Yes. Leave your comments below whenever you're listening. Remember, you're not alone. Till next week, stay strong, stay informed, and keep fighting for what matters most.
Bye-bye, everyone.
All right. Bye, everyone.